Neck and shoulder. A real good one. Come on. That's your morning yoga. Shake a little of the energy around. This is beautiful. Give our musicians another great round of applause. Thank you, singers. The theme for the month is hope, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, the healing salve of hope. And I think the reason why all of us are here is because we come each week and everything we do has a motivation of hope in it or beyond it. We hope when we come that we have some kind of an experience that will kick off this week. This is the first day of this week, and yesterday was the last day. This is Sunday. Tomorrow is Moon Day. So we're all astrological in many of our perceptions of life. Pastor is astrological, that the pastor's looking at the star. We're all stargazers. Pastors, shepherds were in the fields for long periods of time, had many hours at night to gaze upward. That's where the word pasture comes from. And pastor, the shepherd of the sheep, also has upward mobility and upward vision, and we all do in one way or another. But there's a certain healing salve, and the word salve is the root word for salvation. A salve is something that is soothing or consoling for wounded feelings or hurt or uneasy conscience. And we all hurt, as you often hear me say, that life is basically a sexually transmitted disease or dis-ease. It is a tension. There's a lot of tension in life. There's a lot of tension in living. There's tension in our bodies. That's why I said stretch, because we have to do that from time to time. There's a lot of anxiety. And it's all based on hope. We hope things can be better. We hope we can be better rather than bitter. We're always wrestling between betterness and bitterness. And we do it subconsciously. The root of our English word, again, salve, is salvation. The New Testament says we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is no longer hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? But if you hope for that which you do not see, you will with patience wait for it. We're all waiting for something we don't see, except visually in our consciousness. We haven't physically actualized or realized the things our soul hopes for. The soul is transcendent or transcendental. The soul is non-physical. It feels and sees and knows what the mind sometimes doesn't believe. So there is a wrestling going on. The song that the ensemble was singing about, we won't go back, we're not going to change, we're going to change and evolve and expand, is something we came here to do. Sometimes we forget why we've come here, or we don't remember what the purpose is. We always want to know, why am I here? Hope basically is expectation. That's what the Hebrew word means when I'm going to use the passage. Hope deferred makes the heart grow sick. Hope delayed, is what the word deferred means, makes the heart grow sick. Every one of us, including the one speaking, is sitting here with an expectation, spectator. We see something. We expect and inspect constantly our lives. We all see something. And why are we here? We are here, we are all here because we know something. But we forgot it. Between the womb and the tomb, we experience, you've heard me say many times, amnesia. We forget we said yes to come here, and so we feel victimized by being here. Victim consciousness is something that is a lull in everybody's spirit. We always feel that we are victims trying to be victors. Whether that's in marriage, in family, on the job, in your physicality, in your mentality, in your emotions. Why are we always dancing around trying not to be the victim, trying to find out how to be the victor? We're not just victims of circumstances, we're victors over circumstances. Hope deferred makes the heart. Heck, expectation makes the heart when it's deferred or delayed or sometimes even denied. That's in Proverbs. Solomon wrote Proverbs, and Solomon is considered in biblical and theology and history the wisest man, or one of the wisest men who ever lived. He was a botanist and a horticulturist and agriculturist. He was a scientist and a poet and a philosopher. He had the swinging gardens. He built the magnificent temple, the first temple, and he was known. He had like 300 wives and 700 concubines. That's enough right there to tell somebody to sit down. Can you imagine 300 wives? And he wasn't worried about who the children is or who's your grandmama. But he ends his life, his last book, Ecclesiastes, begins with this: vanity. Vanity, all is vanity, means meaningless. Here's a man that had everything, all the wine, all the women, all the works. That's the male's perspective. And then he dies or ends his life saying it meant nothing. All of it's vanity. He was only 70 years old. He didn't live long like some of the other Old Testament figures. Hope is a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. All of us are sitting here hoping that something will happen. When it's deferred, defer and differ, it's different. And when it turns out a little bit differently than you expected. How many of your lives are like you expected it to be at this stage and age? I've had many dreams, and I'm trying to figure out, I've been through so many valleys and detours en route to where I am, but I kind of think this is where I'm supposed to be, now that I think about it. It's a strange reality that something in me knows and has always known. They called me the other day, and I got my official invitation to the Sundance Festival. I didn't know I was going to get invited. And with a first class round trip ticket and the hotel arrangement. It's from Netflix, not from Endgame, who's doing the movie. And ours is one of the 16 most must-see movies there. How that came out, I don't know. But I had a sort of a deja vu the other day when I realized that when all of this, those of you who know the story that brought us to All Souls, we were a homeless church, kicked out of everything, lost everything that we had, and because we changed our theology and became more expansive, we really entered new dimensions and higher dimensions. The word dimensions means angles and measurements and scales. The way I see life is a different angle or a different angel. The message has changed. The measurements that I view myself, my soul, my inner being, and yours as I observe and absorb you, and we're doing that today in this house. The measurements, the scales that we weigh ourselves and our values and virtues in shifts in time. And we did that and made this shift, and we went through shift. Some deep shift. And our shift hit the fan. And now we're trying to get our shift together all over again. And it's exciting, it's adventurous, it's curious, it's spontaneous, sometimes it's calculated. But in all of it, there's an expectation. I always saw and knew, because your transcendent soul or transcendental soul sees and knows what the mind sometimes doesn't believe. That's what hope is. Hope doesn't have limitations. I saw this day, I knew it was going to happen, I just didn't believe it was going to happen. That's one of the conflicts that we all have. We know things are okay. We know they're going to be okay. They were always okay, but we don't believe it, and so we often live in what we believe rather than what we know. I am so glad that I'm going away from belief into knowing, which is conscience. Conscience. Science means knowledge. With knowledge, not just with faith. You don't really need faith when you know. Faith is for doubters. So I only have it when I doubt. I only need it when I doubt. I only use it when I doubt. But when I know, I put it aside because it confuses me and gives me doubt. So I'm on my way to that wealthy place in consciousness. Hope deferred The salve is a soothing ointment that helps me get by my pain or through the pain or the irritations or the aggravations of disappointments. Hope delayed or postponed, sometimes denied. Hope put on hold, expectations hanging in a holding pattern. The only thing that helps me sustain that holding pattern and the disappointment of not getting or being or seeing what I want is that I keep expecting it to come. I expect good to happen. The Greek renderings of the word hope is elpis, and it means happy anticipation of good, or for some of God. I anticipate happily that something good is going to happen, that my life will evolve into something that I'm very proud of. The experience, not just what you're proud of, but what I feel is my maximized essence, that I want to experience, express, and expose my highest self in this life, my divinity, my divine self. Disappointment doesn't mean unappointment or no appointment. All of us have been disappointed, and sometimes the appointment is postponed or it's delayed, and you're expecting it, but don't ever lose your expectancy. Don't ever lose your vision or your perspective that things can get better or that things really are better. You're just trying to catch up with that reality. Your betterness has been delayed a little bit. But as I evolve in consciousness, as I begin to expand my reasons and my logic, I'm not as aggravated. These are soulish issues. And the soul is the transcendental, or the non-physical and non-confined to natural or normal. My soul is completely free. My soul has no limits. My soul, your soul, carries the syllabus for your life. It both sees and knows what is not visible or what is invisible. A syllabus, is an outline of the subject in a course or in a cause of study or teaching. And so life is a course. Life is a cause of learning and expanding and becoming. Our greatest human and humane hope or desire or expectation is to realize and actualize the highest experience of our possible and plausible self. Remember, I say when you say you love somebody, you're saying, or something, you're saying you love the part of yourself that manifests when you're with that thing or that person. My mother's here. I love my mother, but what I'm saying is I love the part of me that I experience when mama's hanging around. Sometimes I love her just as much when she's not hanging around, but when she's hanging around. I love my dad. He's gone. I love my wife and children and my siblings. I love you. But I'm saying I love the part of me that I experience when I'm here on Sunday mornings or whenever I pass through or come here when I'm working with people. I love, I call Reverend Barbara back there. She's going to turn out to be something before it's all over. I love how I experience myself when I'm having breakfast with her, when we're sharing and hanging out together or talking. And if I say by the same token, I just can't stand something or somebody, I'm saying I don't like the way I experience me when I'm with you. The only one you'll ever not like, love, or not love is you. The only one you ever experience is you. You will leave here and say, I enjoyed the service, or enjoyed the song, or enjoyed the sermon, but the question is, did you enjoy the self? It's really not about the sermon, or about the song, or about the service. It's about you. Yourself, your soul. Do you enjoy your plausible self? We're all here to be creative, to design, to align ourselves and souls to and with a more expansive and expanded reality. At 65 years old, I was bored. From 50, I realized that the boredom would have killed me. I had to find another way of experiencing myself. I preached to thousands and millions by way of media, written books and recorded albums and received awards and jet set it around the planet and preached to live crowds of 250,000 people. But I was only 50, and I was saying there's got to be more to life than this. I built my dream. I built the church. I had wonderful friends around me that loved me and understood me, that we had trained and grown together. And now I'm half a century old, and I felt my world was shrinking and that I was being strangled by the root or rut or routine that I found myself. I was stagnating. with all of that, in the midst of all of it. The Maybe Center jammed and packed, and with crowds and people and presence. The presence, what I knew, the presence of God was there, and the money was good, and everything was flowing. There were traffic jams every Sunday at the church, and I was in the prime of my life. Then I created the crime of my life, and said more folks are going to heaven than hell. And then I said maybe there isn't a physical, literal place of eternal torment based on the moral character of a God that I wanted to believe in, and that was not necessarily the one that I was reading about or even teaching about. And I started having a nervous breakdown. Now, at least that's what they said I had. I was really having a build-up. I was reconnecting with another reality. I was saying what I'd been taught to say and trained to say, and I'd become a parrot, and I had become a clone, and sometimes a clown, and I was in that flow, and I'd mastered the craft and some of the crap of ministry. And this sexually transmitted disease, which I think is incurable, and we all know it's terminal because we all go through the transition we call death, is not untreatable. So I started new treatments.
That's good, Bishop.
Thank you. Thank you very much. She just came from, she had been in surgery and had her whole body shifted, and she's out of recovery. How many weeks? 6 weeks, and here she is, sitting next to her mother. Anybody like her? She knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We've all been there. We've all been in those places. Our core and most commanding hope or desire or mission or commission is to experience, expand, and express our divinity as human deities, exhibiting and exposing our most demanding inner codings or encodings or callings, which is to create the desired result. You are created, creative, and creating. That's when I speak of your divinity. You have the ability to create. You were created. How? We don't know. And we are creative by nature, and we're creating by habit. Just like when I get through, you're going to run to the restroom because you created something. Saliva, urine, and I'll leave it at that. But we're always creating something biologically, physiologically, and we're also creating emotionally. We're creating psychologically. We have created the reality we are now experiencing and expressing. I am responsible for my life right now. I help create this. However pitiful or painful or wonderful or glorious it is, whatever it is, I had something to do with it. I am not a victim. I am at the forefront of creating myself, and so that's my divine expression. That's the higher dimension of consciousness. It's not about an angry God with anger management problems that's making a list, checking it twice, going to find out who's not here. I'm not even into that anymore. I've never felt more free in my whole 65 years. And then I thought, so I get to go to Sundance, and that's between 40 and 50,000 people. They told me the other day that Martin Sheen, who plays Oral Roberts in the movie, saw it. But I saw it in its rough edit back last February. He saw it recently. And the director called and said he loved it. May even actually come. Big stars like that don't usually go to premieres, but this is going to be the premiere. And I'm thinking, how did this happen? I ain't dead yet. They don't make movies about, I keep looking, Mama, somebody going to kill me between now and then. No, this is a new expression of myself, but I always knew it. Think for a minute. You've always known, as you evolve in deja vus and remembering your dismembered self, your fragmented soul, the particles and parts of yourself you left in a conversation when you were 6, or in a classroom, or a relationship in the past, some encounter you had on the field, or at school, or in college, or in the neighborhood, in a meeting. You're fragmented, and things are starting to come together. 2018, in biblical numerology, 10 is the number of divine order. 8 is the number of new beginnings. In New Thought, it's the number of manifestation. So I'm calculating in my mind that 2018 will be ordained new beginnings for me. nor ordain new beginnings for those who are aware and alert and expecting something amazing to happen. I'm looking forward to 2018 is to be a year of manifestation. I mean, powerful things are going to happen in my life, in my soul, I expect that, I hope that, and even though I've been doing that for years, it's been delayed, I feel right now it's happening. This moment, I am creating it because I'm thinking it. I've changed the word repentant means to metanoia in Greek, to change, change the nous, the mind, change the thinking. After you have thought, think again. Reconsider what you believe, why you believe it, how those beliefs add to or subtract from the quality of your life. I was once thinking, okay, but there's more behind me than before me. In front of me, I'm an older man now, and 65 is not old, and you know it's not old, especially if you old. I'm glad I'm hanging around with my mom because she's twice my age, and it makes me feel younger. I heard Sinbad giving a little comedic thing about an older man then reaching back and marrying a 20 or 30-year-old girl, and he said no, because he was divorced from his wife for 10 years, and then they were married 10 years, divorced for like 6, they got back together, been together like 8 years, and he said the reason they got together because nobody can put up with who they have become. When you're old, you don't want some little 20-year-old, 30-year-old. You need somebody that knows what to happen when somebody's having a stroke. When you get to this age, you want to wear his and hers matching Depends, You glad you can hang out with somebody that know what to do if you start doing like this. She got your medicine in her purse sitting next to you in the theater. You go to the theater together, one of you can see and the other one can hear, and you talk. Well, you hope you last and you believe that somehow you're going to make it to the end of the journey in one piece. So we remember and always be encouraged to know that what we want wants us. What you want wants you. Because what you want basically is you. Your best experience of you. Your best expression of you. The best and clearest, most exposure of you. Age is only a number. Stage, where you are, the stage of consciousness, or the state of consciousness, or the ecstasy, meaning out of stage, out of status. I'm going through an ecstatic experience when I'm leaving one state and evolving to my next state. Tendeka. I'm moving to my next realm and way of being. Wrap your arms around yourself and feel that. Reality is a thing that exists in fact and in function, having previously only existed in your mind. Soul and psychic memory is your earthly essence, your psyche, your soul, psyche in Greek. Psyche, psychic, or psyche, your thought logic, your psychology. The logic and logistics of your thoughts. Thoughts are creative, they're powerful, they're inventive. What you think about, you bring about. So start thinking differently about what you hope for. And remember, the universe doesn't judge you so much by what you feel, and feelings are important, but by what you think about what you feel. And what you think about what you think about what you feel, and then what you think about that. You're here today because of therapy. SALVE. The salve doesn't always cure, it treats. It soothes away some of the agony and the pain of the experience of life. It's an ointment for your appointment. There's a salve in this room right now, and you're feeling it. We've been experiencing since we came in here at 11:30. It's soothing the tension, sometimes the rage and stage of consciousness. I'm telling you, you're not just going to be all right. You already are all right. You just forgot it. Things are good. I hinted about 2018. Some of you, it instantly registered, and you're going to experience exactly what I said. Others of you will debate it a little while. But I'm into times and seasons and even astrological signs these days. I study the universe. Thoughts, we don't just have thoughts. Thoughts have us. And sometimes they control us. But we also have managing skills. We manage our thoughts and manage our pain and manage our gain and manipulate our very souls in cooperation with an ultimate reality and destiny that we all have. Thank you, God. However you manifest yourself in the farthest reaches and rhythms and regions of consciousness, we believe in an intelligent reality that may not be personal, but is at least principled. Thank you for the science, the knowing of the ether and otherness of the parallel universes and dimensions of being, and saying, we're grateful that we are curious. We're grateful that we're adventurous. We are grateful that we are commissioned and have permission, and that we're on a mission, that there's a method to our madness and a method to our gladness. Have thine own way is our prayer, great God. Manifest the kindness and goodness of the thoughts that are demonstrated in benevolence. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. In the name and nature of all that's good, we say yes. Thank you for healing.
Don't be discouraged.
My.
Joy comes in the morning. Know that God is nigh. Stand still and look up. God is going to show up.
you're visiting with us online today. We love connecting with people all across the country and around the world, sharing our powerful message of love beyond belief.
There's something new happening here. You can now join All Souls as a virtual member. Our virtual membership is designed for friends who live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and who want to engage with All Souls in a meaningful way.
You can be part of an expanding family, a global family really, wherever you are. If you live in Oklahoma,
Ohio,
or Orange County, California,
Canada,
or Cameroon. By becoming a virtual member, you'll be able to deepen your connections with members and friends here in Tulsa and with members wherever you are.
Each week, you'll receive special All Souls content tailored for you, our virtual members. Virtual members have access to pastoral care, to personal prayers, and also receive invitations to exclusive web events.
You can learn more, and if you're ready, you can become a virtual member today by visiting allsoulschurch.org/virtual membership.
We're grateful our ministries are having a positive impact on your life, and we want to share the good news of love beyond belief with more and more people. So no matter what, we need your support to keep this ministry growing and thriving, so please consider making a gift today. You can do so by texting
LOVEBB for Love Beyond Belief to 73256 or simply visit our website. You are a blessing in our lives. May you be blessed.
and be a blessing.